Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we have another WWE Evolve. This is episode 4. It just aired on Tubi, obviously. I think the Tubi little idea is a lot better than the speed idea. Just on you go on the app, it's all there. You get a couple matches. Yeah, it's just so much different. And this episode actually was pretty refreshing compared to the last two. Like the first episode, great. The second episode, really bad. Third episode was a little bit better than the second episode. And then this one it's kind of what I expect it to be. And that is not a bad thing. So let's just jump into it. First off, we had Stevie Turner being now the official GM of WWE Evolve. It's one of those things where it's just obviously like a figurehead type thing. I think it was not a bad idea for her because when you have it as Ava's both, it seems like that's just way too much stuff and probably way too much time for Ava to just even be on screen for both of them. So somebody who's already kind of there and has like that GM or assistant GM role already in NXT, this just kind of works out. I'll put it in B. It's an idea. It didn't really change or will do anything for the scope of things, but I do think you need to have like a figurehead in a lot of these shows because it makes it a lot easier to especially make matches and stuff like that. You don't have to have stuff it's shoehorned in there. You can just have somebody be like, well, that's the match. We're going to do this and whatever. Then next up, we had Wolfgang, who's on the NXT roster, part of Gallus versus Sam Howell. Holloway? I think, yeah. I was like, I had written it down as Howell, and then I also have the cage matchup. This is, again, like what I kind of like this formula. If you're going to use an NXT person, have him against somebody who's in the PC/ID program type thing because it makes it a lot better. Obviously, they should eventually get some wins. That's the only issue with it is that there's no wins. So, I don't think there's been a single NXT person who's lost to a different talent, which again, I guess, they are kind of set above them a little bit because they have NXT time, but I think there needs to be one, and this one would have been okay of a one to have, but Wolfgang and Sam had a pretty decent match, some good back and forth. It was solid. It was like a 7 minute match, but it was you watched it, it was good, and yeah, I'd put it in B. I wouldn't. Whoops, I wouldn't really. I wasn't blown away by either one of them, but for a match here, and especially the open match, I thought was pretty good. And then we go to Kendall Gray versus Sarah Zacher. Um, Both of these two women were phenomenal out there. They definitely Kendall Gray. I've seen her a couple times on NXT and level up and stuff. And I think she's pretty solid. Like I would really definitely want to see her pushed into NXT. Obviously, she's kind of getting a push here, so if that's where she stays for a little bit, I'm cool with that because she needs to be on TV. This is already her second match. She had the opening tag match from episode 1 that was also really phenomenal. And then Zara Zacher had the win over Kylie Ray, which was really a really big marquee win for this because she was to me the biggest name on the women's side of things. So I think this match was really good. I think my only gripe really is just the time. I wish they had a little bit more time. They had made use of the 6 minutes that they got, but I feel like this one deserved a little bit longer than some of the other matches. I thought it was still a pretty solid match. I'm gonna put it up at A. I didn't really understand maybe Zacher losing this one because I thought she had kind of had the hot hand, but it still was a pretty good match. Then we had a tag team match, which was Bennett and Layla Diggs versus Hayes Jamison versus is it Carlax? Carlax? I'm pretty sure the Jessica Carr, I think they've said is the one that's her that she's the one there, the referee, which is kind of a cool, crazy idea that they're using. I guess we'll see if it happens. I liked her character a lot. It was kind of like a monstery, didn't say much and do stuff, but obviously the match itself wasn't anything too crazy. Hayes gets distracted on the outside in the VIP section or the VIP section, and doesn't help her teammate, and they lose. It was a really good match for the time it was. It wasn't much of a time, so I can put it in a C. That's basically it. It was just definitely could have used a little bit more time on it, but for the story that they were telling, it makes sense, and it gets these two. I think Layla Diggs, especially, I think is one of like the brighter stars compared to some of the other people on the roster. So I feel like she's just they wanted to get a good win under her belt. And then the main event, which was Sean Legacy versus Timothy Thatcher. I guess Timothy Thatcher used to be an OG like Evolve champion. He had it for like 500 days. I had not heard of him before. This match was pretty technically sound. It had a lot of good back and forth. I definitely thought it was worth the main event and a good amount of time. I'd put it up an A. I thought the show itself would probably be around a B. I think again they kind of had the formula that works. I really believe it should be 3 matches. Like four, like if you give them another 3 minutes somewhere, it would work. But like, there's always going to be one match that just kind of feels a little like held back from the time, and that definitely was the women's tag match. If you would have gave them like another 3 minutes, I think it would have easily been a B, and then it would have raised the whole show up. But this one definitely was a change. You know, it was definitely a change in pace, and definitely better than 2 and 3. I still think the first episode is the best. The end, they tease some more. We got some pretty solid, good matchups for next week. They already had 3 of them out there, so I'm pumped. I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. These matchups look good, and hopefully it continues to be a good show. If you guys are enjoying the reviews and been watching, shoot a comment below. I don't know if anybody's been watching this. Everybody that I know has not watched any of these episodes, so it's kind of a weird like sub genre of like WWE, and I feel like I'm on this island. And if anybody else has been watching, I'd love to know and tell me what you guys think about it. But until next time, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.